All right, Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I would like to give all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakaha, Kwadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth and sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return, and double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And this is going to be another walk and talk. I wanted to do a video on a statement that a dumb black jackass bitch said with her hood on her head. Okay, she had her hood on her head. So, like the beloved brother Manak Zagba was saying from South Carolina, she probably had a bad hair day or probably no hair at all. Because we know that according to Isaiah, the 3rd chapter, we know that the Lord cursed the scalp of the heads of the daughters of Zion by taking away their hair. Okay. And speaking of hair, there you go. Okay. A woman's number one friend outside of food stamps, WIC, alimony, back page, child support, SNAP. But on the beloved elder Manat Zakba's page, there was this bitch. She had the shit eater grin on her face while proudly proclaiming that God does not judge by skin color. Basically lying on us, saying that we teach that the Lord loves Jacob and Esau based on skin color, which is a complete lie, because we here at Great Millstone have never taught that the Lord loves Jacob and Esau based on skin complexion. Now, while other Israelite groups might have taught that way, okay, especially ISUPK, we know that a lot of guys at ISUPK, they're carnal, and whenever they see an Israelite that might look like a guy of another nation, or he might even look like an Edomite, which the biblical Edomites would be the self-proclaimed white man. He'll tell that person, you cannot come into the camp. You cannot learn this truth because you're an Edomite. So without reading the God's spirit as you're supposed to, when a guy come up to a camp that look like somebody of another nation, if he's standing there, if he's listening, if the word of Yahweh is resonating with him, like the scriptures say, you're supposed to try the spirit by the spirit, because you don't know if that guy's an Israelite or not. Because we've been scattered on the four corners of the earth, and especially here in America and in South America, there have been a lot of tares that have been born to Edomites. So you can look like a Latino, you can look like a so-called Negro, you can look like a so-called North American Indian. That does not mean that you are an Israelite. What makes you an Israelite is if your father's line or lineage on your father's side goes back to a so-called Negro, Latino, or Native Indian, which would be the true biblical Israelites. So if your father's line do not go back to a so-called Negro, Latino, or Native Indian, you are a heathen. If your father's line on your father's side goes back to a so-called Negro, Latino, or Native Indian, according to Numbers 1 verse 18, you are an Israelite regardless of what you look like. So again, she claims that we teach that God hates everybody based on skin color, and that simply ain't true. Now, let me tell you something. We all know that the Lord hates every wicked and abominable way, right? Okay. In the book of Amos, the righteous God, Yahweh, told us to hate the evil and love the good. Now, when you look up the word wicked on google.com, you'll find out that the word wicked literally means evil or morally wrong. So when the Most High said hate the evil, what do you think he was alluding to? You're supposed to hate every evil way. That includes a person who has a desire to do evil. So the Lord said in the book of Amos, hate the evil and love the good, and establish judgment in the gates. When you look up the word wicked on google.com, the word wicked literally means evil or morally wrong. Okay, the word wicked literally means evil or morally wrong. Now, how do we identify who the wicked is? Well, when you go to Malachi chapter 1 verse 4, it reads, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of what? Wickedness. Edom will be known as the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord have indignation forever. Okay, so who is Edom? Genesis chapter 36 verse 1. Now, these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom. Okay, Esau is Edom. How do we identify who Esau is? Genesis 25 verse 25. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, meaning when Esau came out of Rebekah as a baby, he came out red. His whole body was red. Why? Because Esau was born with translucent skin, which makes it possible to see his blood under his skin. When you have translucent skin, it means you have no melanin in your skin. In other words, Esau was born with clean leprosy all over his body. He was born with no melanin. Okay? He was born with no melanin. This is why he was described as being red all over, because he was born with no melanin, and he also had stringy hair. So because he had no melanin, it was possible to see his blood under his skin. And there's plenty of pictures on Bing.com and even Google.com, when you type in, babies that are born red, you'll see plenty of pictures of babies who are born red because of the blood that shows forth under their skin. Okay, and ain't nothing changed when Esau grew up and got older. When Esau grew up and got older, okay, he was still a clean leper. He still had no melanin in his skin. Now, what nation of people on this planet in which, if you look at them, you see their blood showing forth through their skin? So-called white people, okay? Let a so-called white person stand out in a hot blazing sun for 1 hour or even an hour and a half, 2 hours. He's going to start to turn red. Why? Because of the blood that shows forth under his skin, just like his forefather Esau. Okay? Let a so-called white person get smacked, embarrassed, upset, angry. What color is he going to turn? He's going to turn red. Why? Because of the blood that shows forth under his skin. When you have no brown in your skin, it's possible to see your blood under your skin whenever the sun hits you or whenever you get too cold or embarrassed, upset, etc., etc. And this was easily the case with Esau. So we know that the Edomites are the wicked, according to Malachi 1 and 4. So what is the Bible saying about the biblical Edomites, which is the self-proclaimed white man? They are evil and morally wrong. I mean, hell, for crying out loud. When you read the book of Psalms 58 verse 3, it literally states, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. In the book of Psalms, the 10th chapter, what does it tell you? The wicked through the pride of his countenance will not seek after Yahweh, the Heavenly Father, or his son Yahweh Shai. Okay? The Lord is not at all in his thoughts. So the wicked is not thinking about the Most High or his son. They're thinking about how to do evil, according to Micah 2 verse 1. Okay? The wicked through his pride doth persecute the poor. Who's the poor? That's the Israelites. The poor are the Israelites. Are we not being persecuted by the so-called white man, his government, and his administration every day? Yes, we are. Okay? In the book of Isaiah, chapter 26, verse 11, what does it say? Or is that Isaiah 26, verse 10? Okay? It says, let favor be shown to the wicked, yet will he not do righteously. In the land of uprightness, what is the land of uprightness? The land of Israel, which is currently being inhabited by Edomites. Okay? The land of Israel is inhabited by Edomites for the most part. Now, are there some Jakes among them? Absolutely. Because again, Israel have been scattered on the four corners of the earth, according to the book of James, the first chapter and the first verse. To Israel scattered abroad greeting. Okay? So, furthermore, when you read the book of Ezekiel, the 36th chapter, it tells you that the Edomites would be in possession of the land of Israel in the last days. Are we in the last days? Yes, we are. The last days is tied to Esau being the end of the world. 2nd Esdras, chapter 6, verse 7. Esau is tied to the last days because when the Messiah returns, the Bible tells you that Esau will be in possession of the whole face of the earth, oikumene, the whole inhabited earth. Job chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So the Edomites are the wicked. So do the Most High hate the Edomites because of their skin color? The answer is no. The Most High hate the Edomites because they are evil and morally wrong. And it clearly tells you in the Holy Scriptures that the Most High hates every abominable and wicked work. Every abominable and filthy way doth thou hate. That's written. Esau is an abominable creature. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person. The word profane means outside the temple. That's why it's a light thing to these devils to sodomize little 5-year-old, 7-year-old boys. Okay, pop little 8-year-old girls. You know, have sex with dogs, moose, roosters. Okay, it's a light thing for them to eat beaver feet. It's a light thing for them to eat pork. It's a light thing for them to break the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord because the fool have said in his heart, according to the book of Psalms 14, verse 1, the fool have said in his heart, there is no God. The Edomites don't believe in the Most High. They believe in evolution. Okay? They believe in transhumanism, self-worship. They believe in worshiping Satan. Okay? So the Most High don't hate the Edomites because of their skin complexion. Because you got Edomites that look just like niggas in the hood. So cut that shit out. And I'm going to say it again. You got Edomites that look like niggas in the hood. So stop that shit, man. Cut that shit out. Okay? Do the Lord hate Jacob because of his skin color? The answer is no. Okay? The Lord loves Jacob because that's the special people whom he created for himself. Because Yahweh, we all know, and the scriptures tell you this, Yahweh is a God, Yahweh is a righteous God. And who is Jacob known as in the Holy Scriptures? Jacob is known as a righteous people. So if you being a God of righteousness had a people of righteousness, would you not love the people of righteousness? Of course you would, because you know that the people of righteousness would take care of his planet. The people of righteousness would take care of his planet, and they would do that which is right in his eyes. Even though the majority of our people, they're not doing that right now because they've been corrupted by the Edomites. But in the kingdom of heaven, like it tells you in Jeremiah 31, verse 31 on down, all of Israel shall be righteous, from the least of them to the greatest of them. So the Most High do not love so-called black people or so-called white people because of their skin color. With that, I'm going to say Shalom is on to the next one.